Salve te discipuli. Welcome to Mythology. Alright, so we're in week 2 now. So, like I explained in the Google form, we're gonna jump right into the content. Make sure you've got your notebook or your stack of papers or your binder or wherever you have your papers with you. Now, taking notes is not required. I'm not gonna ever check your notes. You might find that taking some notes really helps you. You might find that writing some things down really helps it stay in your brain. I will have you writing some things out as part of your work, and I'll have you drawing some things as well. So you might want to consider having paper that doesn't have lines. It's up to you. Again, I'm going to be conveying the mythology to you, and since we can't have a discussion, since we're asynchronous, like I explained last week, the discussion aspect is going to kind of be on your own, and sometimes you'll be submitting written or drawn versions of your own. Okay, so getting into the very first story is the beginning of the universe. The course is going to basically move chronologically as the story progresses. So before we introduce all the main characters and talk about complicated genealogies, we're just going to start at the very, very beginning. Now, of course, our authors don't have much to say about the beginning. It's really abstract. It's really left to the imagination. So I find that this is a great first story that can really let you become part of the myth. So remember, mythology is not one set version of any given story. Different authors, different artists, different painters, different sculptors over the last almost 3,000 years have all put their own sort of version on things. So think of this as your opportunity to join in this part of Western civilization, of the evolving myth, the changing myth. Now, of course, the basic facts can't change, and we're going to go over the basic facts. And then I'll talk about what some ancient people or people in the Renaissance had for their versions, and then it's up to you to come up with your own. You could sort of think of this as sort of like fan fiction, like, what if Darth Vader got the Infinity Gauntlet? What would happen? Write your version of it. But you have to keep Darth Vader who he is. You have to know what the Infinity Gauntlet is. All right, let's get going. Here, I've scanned a poster that's intended for elementary students. Because this is our first time of doing content, I'm going to give you the very, very basic version. Oh, I'm going to make sure my computer stays awake. I'm going to give you the very, very basic version and then talk about more complex ones. So, how did the universe begin? Well, first there was chaos. What is chaos? Now, this artist, who again is depicting this for elementary students, kind of depicts it like this. It's dark, it's a shapeless mass. So what do our ancient Greek authors have to say about chaos? Well, Hesiod, who wrote the Theogony, which chronicles the beginning of the universe, simply has this to say. In the beginning there was only chaos, the abyss. But then Gaia, the earth, came into being. That's it. No further explanation. Nothing more to say. Now Ovid, writing a good 800, 700 years later, kind of defines chaos by what it's not. That is, not what it is, but what it isn't. Before the sea and lands began to be, before the sky had mantled everything, then all of nature's face was featureless, what men call chaos. Undigested mass of crude, confused, and scumbled elements. A heap of seeds that clashed, of things mismatched. There was no Titan sun to light the world, no crescent moon, no Phoebe to renew her slender horns. In the surrounding air, Earth's weight had yet to find its balanced state, and Amphitrite's arms had not yet stretched along the farthest margins of the land. For though the sea and land and air were there, the land could not be walked upon, the sea could not be swum, the air was without splendor. No thing maintained its shape, all were at war. In one same body, cold and hot, would battle. The damp contended with the dry, things hard with soft, and weighty things with weightless parts. Okay, so the word chaos, think about the word chaotic, a lack of order, a lack of form, a jumble. So how can you envision this? Well, this artist kind of makes it look like maybe interstellar mass. What do we think about chaos here? So some ideas. Okay, who knows what that is? Maybe it's matter, maybe it's energy, maybe it's starting to coagulate. Maybe it looks like outer space. There's a bunch of stuff out there, but on first glance, there doesn't seem to be much rhyme or reason about it. Maybe it's sort of forming a shape that you could imagine. Maybe it's a bunch of lines. Maybe it's random. Maybe it's seemingly random. Maybe there's all kinds of colors. Maybe there is a pattern behind it, but you can't see it yet. Now, of course, in modern times, we talk about chaos theory. Like, is chaos truly random? Is there like a mystical or magical or scientific or mathematical formula behind it? Maybe you want to envision this as like a supernova or an interstellar mass, or a solar system starting to form on an accretion disk. Maybe you think of it like a black hole. What is a black hole? Does it have shape? Does it have form? Can you see it? Colors. Light. Again, if you want to view this from like an astronomical point of view, that's a pretty good starting point for what chaos really might be. Maybe there's some beginnings of shape. Maybe there's not. Maybe it's a cloud. Maybe it's a nebula. Maybe it's a whirlpool. Again, maybe it's like a black hole. Okay, so that's chaos. Now Gaia is going to come out of chaos, but that's not happening yet. So now it's your turn. At the end of this video, write up a paragraph describing your version of chaos. Again, it's formless, it's shapeless, and then draw your version of chaos. Put a good 5 minutes into your drawing, put a couple of minutes into your paragraph. So you can get 4 or 5 sentences, kind of like what Ovid said, what Hesiod said. Remember, you can go back and rewatch this video. You can fast forward, you can pause. All right, in your notebooks, first things first, chaos. All right, go.